I'm Mark Hines. I have been Kong's lead behavior and training specialist for 20 years now. I actually went over to the company with a bunch of gear as a Schutzen trainer. So I had sleeves, I had leashes, collars, vests. I even had bite suits because I worked with bite suits. But I went over to Kong. They heard about me, one of the people that was with him, and he said, Joe, the owner of the company is Joe Markham. And they said, this guy's crazy. He loves dogs way too much. And so I thought when Joe called me over that it was going to be to make a bite suit, to make a sleeve, to make a vest, whatever. And I went over there and he said, bring all your gear and tell me about it. And after about 2 hours, he looked at me with a big smile and he goes, wow, I've been waiting like 5 years for somebody like you to come in the door and would like to offer you a position which I was not prepared for at all. But it was delightful to be offered that, and it has turned into really an amazing career for me. So how did Kong start? It's a great story, and it's a story about a dog that had an unwanted behavior. So a gentleman by the name of Joe Markham was a Volkswagen repair shop, and it was kind of an area of town that was he needed a protection dog a little bit. So he brought in a kind of a washed out police dog. Fritz was his name, and Fritz had a bad habit of chewing on rocks in tin cans, and his teeth were wearing down because why? He was bored to tears they're working on Volkswagens as a repair shop. He was bored. And so it wasn't until a piece that Joe found, a rubber piece with it's called an axle stop or axle stubber, and it's part of the suspension system, and it had what looked like today's Kong as a piece of rubber, and Fritz went crazy when he broke it off the bracket that it was on, threw it to him, it bounced erratic, it was durable rubber, and Fritz went nuts. And so Joe actually turned to his partner and he said, what do you think of my new dog toy? And his partner said, I don't know, Joe, it's kind of ugly. In fact, it looks like an earplug for King Kong. And Kong was born. But we were a family, just a small family. Even when I came in, the company started back in 1976. And it was something that Joe, when he was starting, he went out and did a commercial early on at 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's the one that you could pay a low amount for. And it was shown like once. And then he would go into the pet stores and say, look, I'm on TV with my new toy, and got started in that way. And a lot of fun. But I mean, it went years of a very small company and trying to find places to have it made. There was a company called Gates Rubber in Denver, and Joe went to them and like, could you make this piece? And they're like, how many millions do you want? Yeah. So it was like, no, we can't do that. But he found a way to get started, and we started small. And as it's grown now, we're in over 80 countries today. Worldwide, and we still work on that durable, safe, easy to clean, easy to use toy that has that bounce for the law enforcement and military dogs. And of course, what's changed is in the pet dog world of stuffing it with food and using it to bring down drive levels, of which we're, thank goodness, starting to do that with military and law enforcement dogs, because they're bouncing off the walls with all that crazy drive, which we create with the Kong. But we also can be used as a great tool to change an unwanted behavior of separation anxiety, of dogs spinning spinners in crates, nervousness, whining, barking, all of those things. So our new work that we're doing today, in particular with your customer, with the law enforcement military, would be to use it more as a promoting calm than just as that reward. It's always going to be that reward that you pull out for finding an explosive, a narcotic, area search, whatever. It'll always be used for that, but we really want to add to that what it's used for so much in what I call the Pookie dog world, the pet dog world, and we love them. We've got Kong, we have like 20 dogs that are Pookie dogs, and they love their Kongs just as much as the military law enforcement dog. So Ray Allen, wow, I believe it was the first account, and at least it was one, maybe they had somebody smaller, but it was the first significant account. And it was something, the reasoning behind Joe Markham was, oh my gosh, if this toy can hold up to the kind of dogs that Ray Allen works with, it'll hold up to anything, and it'll be a great toy for all dogs. Where to find Kongs? Ray Allen, but pretty much anywhere. And the point to that is that when you're working something like a military law enforcement dog, one of the worst things that I see is when somebody buys something, a toy for their dog, and then that toy is discontinued, including toys that we make. And so the importance of a Kong is that you can always, wherever you go, find it, whether it's on a larger scale stores or online. It's found throughout the industry, easy to find in all over the world. And that's very important to the working dog.